Someone said in a YouTube comment that we need to stop calling these things retro because they're starting to play modern games, so I'm calling them emulation handhelds that play older games that aren't quite retro. It has a ring to it. Here are my personal favorite devices of 2024 and a reason for each being at the top of my list. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for people like PCBWay. They are an online ordering system where you can get a plastic shell like this made on PCBWay's website. You can choose the type of plastics you want to use. They do CNC milling, 3D printing, and custom PCB boards. If you are working on some sort of project and you want to develop custom parts for your project, PCBWay is the place to go. Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to start with the Adin 2 Mini. I'm not going to put this one into the rankings because I feel like it's too expensive for the message of this YouTube channel. I'm very biased because this is my favorite device. It dethroned the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro recently, so I'm very biased. I use this thing for everything from Duolingo to Switch emulation. Recently, I've been testing a lot of PS Vita games on the Retroid Pocket Mini. I'm definitely going to translate that research onto this device. This is my most expensive device that I own at over $300 excluding shipping. It's not the sort of thing that I recommend to family and friends. But the reason I would recommend it to someone who is willing to spend the money is that its design and build quality is top-notch. Sure, it's the price of a Steam Deck, but it's built better and looks better than the Steam Deck by a long shot. This is a great Christmas gift because it's just so special. Okay, starting at number 8, this is the PowerKiddy RGB 10 Max 3, not the Pro. This is like a moderately powerful device, so it's definitely still retro. I said this is my top 10 for 2024, and it still is holding its own even with all the great releases that have been brought out. One of the things that bumped this up and kept this in this video is this is like a cheap budget and stretched Retroid Pocket Mini. So it's longer, same height, and it's a lot cheaper. This is a really nice device. I would say this is competitor to the Retroid Pocket 2S, which I also rate, but I wanted to have this one in the video just to talk about it because I think it's a little bit of an underdog and a device that slipped through the cracks. It's got lovely ergonomics, very similar to the Retroid Pocket Mini. Got okay triggers, an okay D-pad. But overall, I really enjoyed playing this. This is only really something for you if you're enjoying stretching your games because this is a 16:9 screen. So that is the one big downside because a lot of the systems that this can play aren't 16:9. This can't really play PSP very well. So that's the one big downside to this. But overall, I really like this device. And if you don't mind stretching your games, I think you might really enjoy this. Number 7, it is going to be the RG Arc. This is a lovely device from Anbernic. As a Sega kid growing up, I never owned a Sega, but I played a lot of Sega because it was the big thing in South Africa. I recall shops at the mall with mostly Sega cartridges, and I remember them costing a fortune. This Arc is an exceptional device by Anbernic with its 6-button layout. A lot of people complain that it doesn't play Sega Saturn. Doesn't bother me that much. For me, this is just a beautiful device that plays Mega Drive, and I've got a bunch of Mega Drive games on here, and that's all I really care about with this device. Number 6 is the RG40XXV. Now, this is part of Anbernic's budget range with the H700 chipsets. I don't like the design of the RG40XXH, but this is like a poor man's analog pocket, which I kind of love. Their color options are excellent. They've got this one, they've got the clear black and the white one. The screen is good, and paired with a custom firmware like MinUI, this is just begging to be a minimalist handheld, which is what I've done. I've just put a handful of games on here, and I think this is a very special device. And then number 5 is the Anbernic RG406V. I don't have the RG406V yet. This is the 405V, which I loved. I played this for an extended period of time as my personal device, and I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, the RG406V is going to be this, just with more power, coming with this great ergonomic form factor. It's going to have better joysticks. plus Anbinic's lovely 4-inch screen, which apparently is better on the 406V. So if you're a fan of vertical form factors and you want something that's fairly comfortable to hold, and it can play PS2, GameCube, 3DS pretty comfortably, especially with the 406V, this device is definitely for you. All right, so number 4 is MeU. I'm just going to put the whole brand in there. I don't think the A30 quite makes it on the list as one of my favorite devices. I must be honest, I reviewed it and I liked it, but I didn't stick around playing this device for very long. And I'm not really sure why. I think there's just been so many releases. But if you like floppy controls and horizontal form factor, go watch my video because I put some custom firmware on here, and the custom firmware works really well. The custom firmware by 10 levels. This is a great little device. But really, MeU, they get the nostalgia factor going really well here. But these two devices just cannot be beaten, in my opinion. This is the MeU Mini and the MeU Mini Plus. These are two of the best retro emulation devices ever made. I know that is like crazy talk. This is my custom button one that I got from Lit NXT, and then this is the normal MeU Mini Plus. These two devices have such lovely controls, soft controls, and the start and select, everything just feels so retro. And playing Game Boy games on here, playing Game Boy Advance games on here, just feel good. It's like the olden day devices just brought into modern times, and that's why I think these are just the best. Why are they not top of my list, you ask? Because this is my favorites, and they are the GOAT. Like if someone asks me what should I buy, I usually point to these. But in terms of what I'm really enjoying right now, we're heading into my sort of more personal devices. This is the Retroid Pocket Mini. If you follow my channel, I've only had this for less than a week. When I did my initial review, my initial thoughts, I was like, this is pretty good. It seems okay. It's very expensive for what it is. I was quite concerned about the fact that the screen is so small. After some time with it, I mean, look at that design. That glass screen does pick up a lot of smudges, but with a little wipe, it comes right quite quickly. It's got lovely ergonomics. Very, very nice to hold. These triggers are superb. The joysticks are excellent, and they've been slightly recessed compared to previous models. D-pad is always good. These controls are a little bit noisy. Playing it in my bedroom with my wife around, it was a bit on the noisy side. Overall, a tiny, powerful device that you can dock. So one of the things that a lot of reviewers I think are missing is the fact that this is a tiny, dockable device. This is a video out, and so you can dock this and play PS2 games, GameCube games, all those more modern games on this tiny package, and then you can take it off the dock, bring it on the train with you, and have all that power on the train with you in a very inconspicuous package. So to me, I think moving forward, this is probably going to be my go-to device for putting in my pocket and taking with me if I'm sitting around waiting for my kids. And then number 2, and this has been my number 2 for a while, is the Anbinic RG Cube. We started with the RGB30, and this still is a lot of people's favorites. I know my friend Shem at RetroBreeze loves this device, and he probably prefers it to the RG Cube. I just prefer a more premium device, so that's the more affordable option. This is the more premium option, and I guess if I wasn't doing this YouTube channel, I would probably have this one because it's cheaper. Very, very special. This is like the Retroid Pocket Mini with a bit less power and a square screen. It's got the bumps at the back, nice ergonomic grips. It's got a little grippy section there, which I really like. These triggers are very good. It's got an exhaust fan. It's got Switch-style joysticks with snapping to cardinals, which a lot of people don't like. I don't mind it on a device like this. The reason I don't like the RG556, which is sort of the sister device to this, is the fact that it's a bigger device and I think it needed better analog sticks. But for this device, it works. Great, lovely D-pad. It's one of the things that sets this apart. Definitely one of my top devices of the year. It's actually not really a surprise at all. If we're not going to factor in the Adin 2 Mini, this is my favorite device by a long shot. It's been like that for a while. This is the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. This is a fairly powerful device, but here's why I love it. Let's read my script to get this right. The Adin 2 Mini dethroned this as my favorite, but in terms of emotional connection, this might be my favorite device of the year. I think this actually came out last year. If I didn't do YouTube and I couldn't afford the Adin 2 Mini, this would have been it for me. I would have bought this for myself for Christmas and been done. There's something about the clear plastic, its texture, the option of the grips. I enjoy taking the grip off and just playing it as is. This plastic, the texture of it is really nice. The controls are exceptional, and it's just enough power to make it special to me. I'm not sure if they're going to discontinue this with the 5. I think they are, because the 5 is definitely a replacement to this. So if you can, I would say go out and get one. If you like the look of this, if you like the candy bar style, I would say just get one, because there is something very, very special about the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. Those are my favorite devices of 2024. Let me know if you think there's something like glaringly left out. The one thing that sticks in my mind is the RG556, and I must be honest, it just hasn't grabbed my attention. I just think there's something lacking with that device. It doesn't have the X factor. This thing, for me, has the X factor, and I think all of these that I've chosen have that X factor. Are you still watching? This is my secret favorite. Technically not an emulation device, because it plays my slowly growing cartridge collection. But the funny playing Game Boy Color build. You build this thing yourself and then it plays cartridges. It feels like a Game Boy Color. The controls aren't quite the same, but nearly. It just is a really special thing, and I just love it in this clear black.